What is going on, everybody? Welcome into TTP Sports. And today the Phillies lose the first game of this four-game set against the New York Mets. And the main description of this game is Taijuan Walker. That is basically the summary of it. We were witness to another dreadful Taijuan Walker start again. And we probably knew this was going to be the case when he was going to start this game. Offense scored 6 runs. That should be enough to win a ball game. But when Taijuan Walker is allowing 3, 4, 55,000 home runs in basically every single inning, you're going to have no shot of winning this ball game. Offense did show a nice fight back, but, Jose Ruiz wasn't sharp out of the bullpen. Jose Alvarado wasn't sharp out of the bullpen, even though the defense, Bryson Stott didn't help him out much there, but got to find a way to have your guys back. And those two guys out of the bullpen really didn't help you much there. Offensively, I'm really not going to complain much about this team. Like I said, they scored 6 runs. That should be enough to win a ball game. Overall for this series, I'm still not concerned whatsoever. Yeah, I get the Mets are very hot, but you did win a series in Citizens Bank Park against this Mets squad not that long ago. And yeah, the pitching matchup definitely 100% did not favor you in tonight's game, and the offense did try to fight back into this. That's why I'm trying to find some slight of hope for this series, and this series is nowhere close to being over by any means. The Phillies can easily win 2 games in this series. I don't care how hot the Mets are. Yeah, the Mets are playing very good baseball, and their offense is on fire, and their pitching has been fantastic. But like I said, going back to last series in Philadelphia, like I said, last weekend, anything can fucking happen. So I'm not concerned in the slightest. All you have to do is win 2 games in this series. You clinch your postseason berth, you clinch your division, and then you focus on the bye week and all that stuff. You did get some fortunate favor with the bye week situation because the Brewers did lose today to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I think that lead stays at 3 games, a 3-game lead for the Phillies. But the Dodgers did win on Shohei Ohtani having a 10 RBI day. So that was just historic in itself. Him finally, getting that 50-50 season, that was just simply amazing. But focus on yourself. Yeah, Ranger Suarez is going to be on the bump tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. It's him or Christopher Sanchez, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is actually going to be Christopher Sanchez first for tomorrow's game. Yes, it is. It's going to be the rematch of last Sunday's game in Philadelphia. It's going to be Christopher Sanchez against Peterson. So we basically know how that matchup will go. Still, granted, we know Christopher Sanchez, completely different pitcher than he is on the road compared to Citizens Bank Park. So that is another story at the end of the day, but I'm still confident in Christopher Sanchez's capabilities to go out there and keep you involved and keep you around. So, and with the way the Phillies offense did swing the bats a little bit today, I think they'll be fine overall for the rest of this series. So that is the basic line there. Win 2 games in this series, and you solve your postseason woes right there, even though there's really no postseason woes. It's just clinching everything. That's basically it there. So overall, description, just Taijuan Walker. Not sure why this guy continues to get chances, but actually, I do know why this guy continues to get chances, because every person they throw into that 5th starter role stinks. That's basically it. Yeah, Phillips had his own little shine in the moment. Had a couple of nice games in there, including that complete game shutout against Cleveland, but he really, fell really back down to earth. Colby Allard, he got his number called in the last start against the Mets, and look what happened there. He didn't go even past 3 innings in that ball game. And, Johnson came up in one start. He sucked. Literally every single person that you have thrown into this 5th spot of the rotation has stunk. So you really have no other option right there unless you wanted to throw Colby Allard out there to give you 4 innings, 3 innings, or something like that. Was it going to be as bad as it was last Saturday? I have no idea. So I guess they thought it was, Taijuan Walker, with the way that he pitched on that Saturday against New York, kept the Phillies involved in that ball game. Maybe that was garden enough for him to at least, hey, let's just try it here in this first game against the Mets. Like I said, I don't agree with it whatsoever, because I don't think Taijuan Walker deserves any more cracks at the rotation, but you literally have no more options with anybody else because they've all sucked. That's basically it there. So there's really no other way to go about it. There's no one else that you can throw in that rotation that's going to be even better or even worse. Honestly, yeah, you could have thrown Allard in there again. I wouldn't have minded that whatsoever, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You don't have anybody in there that you could rely on in that 5th spot of the rotation, basically since Spencer Turnbull, and that whole situation became a nightmare because you screwed him over with forcing Taijuan Walker back into the rotation and forcing Spencer Turnbull into the bullpen, and then forcing him back into the rotation when Walker got the quote-unquote blister, and then that completely ruined, Spencer Turnbull's season. So, and he hasn't been back since, and he's probably not going to be back at all. Unless you go on a deep postseason run, even though I feel like that is scarce with Spencer Turnbull returning even then. So, there's no guarantees there, and that was basically your most reliable pitcher in the 5th spot of the rotation, and basically since then there hasn't been. And yes, that goes down to Dave Dombrowski not addressing the starting rotation, just getting a reliable arm that can give you innings in a 5th spot of the rotation every 5 days. And yeah, that was something that you lacked. That was something that this front office should have done that they did not do. But what it is at the end of the day, in the playoffs, you're not going to use a 5-man rotation. You use 4 pitchers. And yes, there's still one pitcher that is concerning in that spot is Ranger Suarez, but we'll get to that road when we'll get to that road. Ranger Suarez, I'd still deal with him on the mound. Rather, I still trust him more than a Taijuan Walker, even though that's more of a stretch with the way Ranger Suarez has been pitching. But still the same difference. Taijuan Walker just doesn't deserve to be in the rotation at this point. And who knows, he'll probably get one more start in the rotation when everything is all said and done with the clutching scenarios, just so they can, save the bullpen and all that crap. And a lot of people were saying, oh, get Taijuan Walker, he can't pitch in the 4th inning. Look, I understand Rob Thompson not putting Taijuan Walker back out there for the 4th inning. You need someone to eat innings. You just can't go to the bullpen like that automatically. I understand the game was a 1-score game, but then you also got to think of this scenario. You haven't had an off day in a while, and I believe your last off day, if my math is right here, your last off day was last Thursday before that Mets series at home. So you're not going to have another off day until next Thursday. That's another week from now. So you can't just go into this game and then just, okay, Taijuan Walker, you're done after 3 innings, and we're going to the bullpen. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't throw away your bullpen arms at this point because you need them for the rest of the series, and you still need them at this point because you still need the clinch. So I understand that predicament of not putting Taijuan Walker, forcing Taijuan Walker back out in the 4th. Like, I don't have an issue with that. Of course, Taijuan Walker became Taijuan Walker and let everything implode from there, but I'm not going to complain in that scenario right there where you need someone to go out there. You just can't automatically go to the bullpen. You're just not going to do that. It's not going to happen, especially when you don't have any days off for the foreseeable future. So I understand that, even though some people were complaining about that. If you just look at Taijuan Walker's entire night, 3 in the 3rd inning, 6 hits, 8 earned runs allowed, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts allowed, 4 home runs. Holy. Ruiz wasn't that good on the mound either. Threw 20 pitches, allowed 2 earned runs. Allowed 1 earned run. 2 of those were walks, 2 hits. Allard came on the mound. He walked 2, allowed 1 hit, struck out 2 in 2 innings. Alvarado, he allowed a run. Banks, he did his inning. Solid job stuff there. Offensively, you had 8 hits. You scored 6 runs. Kyle Schwarber, 1 for 5 with an RBI on the ground outs. Trey Turner, he had a 2-run shot in this game. Bryce Harper, he had a 2-run double. Alec Boehm, he went over 4. They flip-flopped Castellanos and Boehm with a cleanup in the 5th spot. Castellanos goes 1 for 4. Stott goes 1 for 3 with a walk. JT 1 for 3 with a walk. Marsh, he went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Stevenson 0 for 2. Wilson came in, and then Clemens came in. And that was basically it from there. Phillies went 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Harper went 1 for 1 there. Marsh went 2 for 2 in those scenarios. So it is what it is at the end of the day. You want to see where the scoring happened. It started in the bottom of the 1st inning after Taijuan Walker recorded the first 2 outs. Gets Iglesias the ground out, gets Nimmo to fly out, and then Vientos just lines a home run that barely gets over the wall, hits the top of the fence over that orange line that they have the home run marker in left field, and that counted as a home run. And then Pete Alonso, I believe it was a 2-strike count, just shot it the other way. Goes over the fence for back-to-back, so all of a sudden it's 2-0. Phillies don't do anything in the top of the 2nd inning. Taijuan Walker actually gets a 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And then top of the 3rd, Trey Turner ties it up with a 2-run shot. Some life there with 2 outs. Kyle Schwarber got on with a 2-out single, and Trey Turner hit a bomb. Nice to see. But then bottom of the third, Iglesias led off with a single, then Brandon Nimmo hit a home run to center field. Instantly, Mets respond, becomes 4-2. Top of the fourth, Phillies score a run off of a Brandon Marsh 2-out single that scored a run there. Becomes a 4-3 game. Bottom four, Martinez hit by pitch to lead off the inning. Taylor then walks, and then Alvarez hits the 3-run shot to make it 7-3. Acuna strikes out. Iglesias reaches in on an infield single. Rob decides to go to the bullpen. Nimmo doubles, which scores a run. Vientos singles, which scores another run, becomes 9-3. And then Ruiz eventually got out of that after walking a couple of pitchers, got a double play with the bases loaded. Top five, Phillies go down 1-2-3. Bottom five, Allard up there, allowed a couple of walks and then got a couple of fielders' choices. Top six, Phillies go 1-2-3. Bottom six, Allard had a solid inning. Top seven, Phillies got a couple of more runs on the board there. JT led off with a double. Marsh singled, which got JT over the third. Weston Wilson got hit by a pitch, so he had bases loaded. Kyle Schwarber grounds into a fielder's choice, which scores the run. Trey Turner then strikes out when the Mets go to the bullpen. Bryce Harper then doubles to make it a 9-4, 9-6 ball game. So you are within striking distance. It's a 3-run game. Then you go bottom seventh inning. Mets get another run on the board. Taylor led off with a walk, and then Acuna tripled, which made it 10-6 with Alvarado out there on the mound. There should have been a double play before that, regardless, because Bryson Stott, just a terrible throw over the Bryce Harper at first base when he should have gotten Alvarez, because Alvarez is not a good runner up the first baseline. I think Stott rushed it a little bit there. Tried to do it all himself to turn that double play when he could have just, tossed it to Trey Turner, who actually played a pretty solid shortstop today defensively, not going to lie. Not going to lie, he made some pretty nandy plays there. Sadly, it was wasted in a loss and all that. Then basically that was the rest of the ball game. Offenses didn't do anything from there. It is what it is at the end of the day. Like I said, is what it is. Didn't get any help from the Braves' perspective. They won 15-3 over the Reds, so no help there. And in terms of the standings right now, if we just look at everything, you're now 6 games ahead of the New York Mets and 8 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves. And in terms of the league standings for the bye week purposes and all that, you're now tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the first spot in the National League, and you're still 3 games ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers for the other bye week. So that definitely helps there. That definitely helps that the Brewers did lose to the Diamondbacks. I believe they lost 5-1, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, I think they lost 5-1 if I'm looking at everything right here. Yep, lost 5-1, so that definitely helped in that scenario. And if we're just looking at tomorrow's game, like I said, it's Christopher Sanchez against Peterson, rematch of last Sunday. We'll see where that goes. Then Saturday at 4 o'clock, that's Ranger Suarez against Sean Manaea. And then Sunday, it's going to be Zach Wheeler against, right now, a to-be-determined pitcher. We still do not know who is pitching for the Mets on Sunday. I believe someone did say it could be Kodai Senga, but it's still nothing confirmed yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Then you get to the rest of the schedule, basically. Cubs at home for the final home series of the year, then Nationals on the road to close out the season. So that's basically it right there. Yeah, just with this game, just Taijuan Walker. That is the bottom line. Taijuan Walker got another chance in the rotation, and it completely fell apart like everyone expected it to be. So it is what it is at this point. I'm not going to be overly concerned. I know I do have a call in here that says that the Phillies possibly could get swept in this series. Look, we said that last time in the last series against the Mets. We said it on that Friday game, and look what happened. Yeah, it took some comebacks from unexpected characters in the lineup, but you still managed to get the wins. And your pitching in the last 2 games, besides Colby Allard and all that stuff, was pretty good. And you got some clutch hits. That's all you got to do. I don't want to fully rely on that. But get solid. Basically, it's what I'm trying to explain is get good starting pitching. You'll have a chance to win the game. That's basically what it is. Saturday's perspective wasn't good starting pitching. It was just good bullpen that kept you involved. Sunday was really good starting pitching. Not Saturday. You just got clutch stuff from the bullpen and your bats. So, get a good start tomorrow from Christopher Sanchez. Maybe the bats can get the Peterson this time, and you can get yourself a nice win here to lower that magic number and also clinch a postseason berth. At the same time, then you focus on winning one more game in this series. After that, you clinch the division and put that all away. So you really don't have anything more to stress about besides the bye week. That's basically it right there. So, nothing really concerning at that point. It's just Taijuan Walker. You could have won this game if Taijuan Walker was not on the mound, but like I said, you really had no other option. You had no other option. Couldn't call anybody up. Were you really going to trust Allard another time around where he struggled the last time against the Mets? So there's really nothing else that you could have done. Just what is what it is. And that goes back to not addressing the starting rotation. So it is what it is. I'm not going to get too further into that topic because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So maybe I should be more mad about this game. Maybe that's a flaw on me. I'm not too egregious after this loss because eventually they'll get the job done. I'm confident in that fact. You know, a lot of people are like really. I also do think the Eagles' loss on Monday is kind of affecting all the emotions around here and just, you know, typical Negadelphians and all that stuff getting frustrated that they haven't clinched the scenario already. It is what it is. They'll do it eventually. They'll do it eventually. It's most likely going to be in this series. So is what it is at this point. And if we look at the Braves, I believe, who do they play this weekend, the Atlanta Braves? Who do they play? They play the Miami Marlins, so nothing guaranteed there. And I think the Dodgers, they play the Colorado Rockies this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, they play the Rockies twice in the last 3 series, and then the mixed in there is the Padres. So really can't do anything about that. And with the Brewers, I know they play the Mets in the final series of the year. I'm not sure who they play before that. I kind of forget. And then for this series after this one, for the Mets, they play the Braves. So that'll definitely make some chaos right there in terms of, you know, fighting for that final wild card spot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But let's get to the Anytime Hotline before we call things off here. I decided to do a recorded version of this just because, you know, I knew I was going to get a lot of people really harping in the live chat. Kind of just didn't feel like dealing with it today. That's no offense to anybody. That was just my my temperament today, or like lack of patience. So it's nothing. That was just the way I was going into this one. So, well, let's get to the Anytime Hotline here. Let's get to Zach's voicemail, see what he has to say, and then we'll get to Sean's. So what's Zach got?
Well, the Taijuan Walker experience is
okay. For some reason,
done.
I cannot. Hear
there's no
anything on the voicemail line. That is definitely weird on that perspective. Oh boy, oh boy. What do you know? What do you know? I just can't hear anything whatsoever. Let me just make sure everything is good there. Yeah, everything is good there. I figured it out. For some reason, my dial was turned all the way down. So now let's get to Zach's voicemail.
Well, the Taijuan Walker experience is officially done. There's no way you can't DFA him after that. That was one of the most pathetic performances. This guy, I genuinely feel bad for him at this point. Last year he wasn't even that good. He was a 15-game winner, but he had a 5+ ERA. Well, this year he's almost a 7 ERA. How in the hell did he? He was already bad, and then he got even worse. I'm trying not to rip him too much, but he's got to be DFA'd. He has to be off the roster. We just don't have a fifth starter. That's this team. We've been trying. We tried Tyler Phillips. We tried Allard. There's countless other names I'm sure I'm forgetting. We don't have a fifth starter. It's probably not going to be that big a deal in a playoff series. Really, the focus now is you got to take 2 from the Mets. Just, they're not winning the division. They're not even close to Mets. So all you got to do is go win 2 games out of the next 3. So I'm not stressing. I'm not worried. I'm just saying, man, Taijuan Walker, good riddance. Hallelujah. He's finally gone. $80 million down the toilet. Peace.
I don't think he's getting DFA'd after that. I just don't think you do that at this point of the year. He's 100% not going to be on the postseason roster, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. And yet, to that point also, you don't have to worry about the 5th starter once going into the playoffs because really no team uses 5 starters in a rotation. They use 4. So, at this point, does Walker get another start when they're all clinched in scenarios and all that stuff? I still doubt it. Maybe they throw Allard back out there. I have no idea. They'll probably throw Allard back out there. It's basically just a flip-flop between these 2 at this point, unless they give someone else another chance. Maybe they call Seth Johnson back up for another chance. Maybe. I have no idea. I have no no idea there. But yeah, basically I'm the same mindset as you with the there's no reason to worry. It's just this game was just Taijuan Walker completely imploding like everyone expected. So all you got to do is win 2 games in this series. It's basically it. It's basically it. So let's get to Sean's call, and we'll wrap it up here.
We pretty much knew how this was going to go. No surprises. You know, I can't blame the offense. If you would have told me they would have scored 6 runs tonight, that should be enough to win you a ball game. But I said last night, Amadeo, I think the Phillies are in danger of losing all 4 of these games. You're facing a team that's red hot, that's hitting the cover off the ball in their park, which is electric right now. They're fighting for their playoff lives. I mean, bad timing this series. But it all goes back to the Taijuan Walker situation, which really shouldn't be a situation. The biggest mistake, in my opinion, that the Philadelphia Phillies have made this year was taking Spencer Turnbull, who was pitching his ass off at the time, out of the rotation. I can't fathom how you can justify, with a chance to clinch a playoff spot, continuing to put this guy out there on the mound. It's a slap in the face to all the fans. Rob Thompson should be ashamed of himself. Dave Dombrowski should be ashamed of himself, and on down the road. This guy cannot pitch. It has to demoralize your own offense when you score, and then this guy gives it right back a half inning later. I mean, are you serious about winning, or are you trying to prove a point? I'm starting to think it's choice B, and this team, again, I think is going to lose all 4 games in this series.
I think you're overreacting to losing all 4 games. The Mets are still beatable, 100%. Yeah, they're playing really good. Yeah, the atmosphere in Citi Field definitely has been a lot better than it has been over the past couple of months and the past couple of seasons there in New York, but I still think they're beatable 100%. I still think you can take 2 games in this series, so I'm not worried about that in the slightest. You got Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler on the mound in this series. That gives you a chance to win at least 2. So I'm not worried about that. Yeah, it's just, even with the Spencer Turnbull point, yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I think we were on the same page basically back when that, whole situation was going about, when they were talking about bringing Taijuan Walker back into the rotation and moving Spencer Turnbull to the bullpen. I didn't agree with that whatsoever. I think Spencer Turnbull did enough, even way more than anybody expected, to stay in the starting rotation. Was he probably going to get injured at some point? Maybe. And that's, just a thing dealing with a Spencer Turnbull, because, yes, he is made of glass. He is going to get injured at some point. But I still didn't think it classified of him going back to the bullpen and all that stuff, especially when he had no career, appearances from the bullpen. He had no experience from the bullpen whatsoever, and just forcing Taijuan Walker back into the rotation because, quote unquote, we're paying him to be a starter in this rotation. I don't think Taijuan Walker did anything to deserve that. And Spencer Turnbull clearly deserved that spot in the rotation, and you screwed that entire situation up. So, yeah, I personally think that's more Dave Dombrowski than Rob Thompson, because I think Rob Thompson at that end of the day would have preferred Spencer Turnbull in the rotation. But I think that final decision came from Dave Dombrowski because I signed this guy to this contract. I'm trying to, and that's probably, yes, trying to prove a point at this rate. So at this point, you just got to say to yourself, this was a mistake. This was a waste. And there's no more other chances that we can do with this guy that's going to do us anything here. It's just not going to help. He's not helping himself. He's not helping us. This is just a clear waste. And off season, you either find a way to unload the contract, you DFA him, get him off the payroll and all that crap. You just put it to the wayside, because I don't think it's doing any favors right now with him being in the organization and just him going out there trying every day and just sucking. So that's something for the offseason. He's obviously not going to be on the postseason roster again. He wasn't as bad as this last season, and he still wasn't on the postseason roster, so he's 100% not going to be touching the postseason roster even close. So that's not going to be a worry. But, yeah, is what it is. Is what it is. I guess I got numb to the entire thing. at the end of the day. So, like I keep saying, is what it is. So, Christopher Sanchez versus Peterson tomorrow. We'll see if this Phillies team can lower their magic number finally again to get closer and closer to clinching into division and wrapping that entire thing up so you really don't have to worry about anything else. We'll see. Another nationally broadcast tomorrow. I believe it's on Apple Television. Joy. And, yeah. So, thanks, guys, for tuning into tonight. Sorry for a no live stream. I just didn't feel like doing the live stream and everything right there. So, we'll probably be back to the live streams tomorrow and all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about that there. So, yep. Just thanks, guys, for tuning into tonight. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. Also, use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase. That's SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in once again. I will see you next time.